Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
Alon, which celebrity would you choose to officiate your wedding?
Who? Can I choose like all time or just the current ones right now?
No, all time. I mean, in your opinion, whatever constitutes a celebrity.
Yeah, I'd probably pick John Candy. I think that'd be really funny.
Oh, so you're going dead too? Okay.
I'm going, yeah, no, yeah.
So you're gonna have some like voodoo magic to resurrect him from the dead. But yeah, you pick him to officiate your wedding. Why John Candy?
I don't know, just hilarious. Always cracked me up. I always like watching SCTV back in the day with my dad as well. So like,
nice.
I love all that kind of stuff. So yeah, probably John Candy. I think that would be really, really because he could do a classy job, but also make it funny as well.
Yeah, I think that he would probably speak beautifully, but also have the laughs.
Yes.
Have you seen the documentary that Colin Hanks made on Amazon Prime? Really good documentary.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's good. It's got a lot of good interviews and footage that I had never seen either, which was awesome.
And I've seen this clip numerous times because Conan O'Brien talks about how he loves John Candy and met him at Harvard. The Yellow Belly sketch on SCTV is incredible, where he's this sheriff, but he's scared, and this little boy asks him a question, and out of fear, he just shoots him.
Yeah, no, it's so good, and that Harvard story is great by Conan O'Brien too. Yeah, so
you don't try comedy, you do comedy.
Yeah, no, it's and hey, that's what Conan ended up doing.
Absolutely. And the reason I ask is because Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had their wedding this, I guess it was Friday, right before 4th of July, at Madison Square Garden, of all places, which I still find puzzling. Just a weird place. But not in the actual, floor of the Madison Square Garden. It's in an auditorium, I guess. And Adam Sandler officiated the wedding. And I guess, I went to my sister's wedding last week, and my sister's husband, Luke, had his brother officiate the wedding. And then this woman after the ceremony goes, back in my day, you had a priest, you had someone, I guess, with authority that officiated the wedding. And nowadays, you kids are having all your friends officiate these weddings. Now that she was put off by it, but like, the whole thing is you save money. Yeah, you can get somebody that I guess is, what would be the term, like sworn in, that's able to do that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to pay them money.
Ordained.
So ordained, yes. And I guess Adam Sandler's buddies with Travis Kelce was in Happy Gilmore 2, has been on the New Heights podcast, out of the kindness of his heart, decided to officiate the wedding, which I'm not surprised, but also what an odd choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they went comedian as well, but yeah. So I didn't know that they're like buddies. So they must be pretty close friends if Adam Sandler's officiating their wedding.
I just imagine how that goes, where Adam Sandler's like, okay, now you take out the ring, now you take out the do you? And now do you?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, what Adam Sandler was it too? Was it a serious Adam Sandler? Like, was it an Adam Sandler from one?
Was it an Uncut Gems Sandler, or was it Bobby Boucher, Waterboy Adam Sandler?
Yeah, was it Bobby Boucher? Was it Uncut Gems? Was it Punch Drunk Love? Did he maybe go off the deep end a little bit as well?
Yeah, you don't want that that very kind but also volatile Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, he's like half snapped that entire movie. But yeah, I read a little bit of the article surrounding their wedding, and I went, well, I'm glad it's done. They're married. Great. And that means Travis Kelce's gonna retire soon, probably. So
yeah, I'd say one last year, maybe.
Let's go. We've done it. We've done it, NFL fans. We got them married, and they will be out of the game soon. Sorry.
Yeah, but we're gonna see a lot of Mrs. Kelce at the Geehaw Stadium aerial shots going, or not aerial shots, but like crowd shots going forward. Just your opinion, man.
Or is it Gayha?
It's Geehaw. When I was in KC, that's what they called it, Geehaw.
Okay.
Instead of yeehaw, it's geehaw.
I don't understand why. So it's is it Geehaw Field at Arrowhead Stadium? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like Heinz Field in Pittsburgh is not even Heinz Field anymore. It's Acrisure Stadium.
It is. It is
so
Acrisure.
It's companies that buy up these well-known named stadiums. So yes, it's Geehaw Field at Arrowhead Stadium, which will be moving soon to Kansas.
Yeah, and are they going to call that Arrowhead Stadium? No, they're not going to call that.
I think the fans will call it Arrowhead Stadium, and I think they'll have something on the outside that says Arrowhead, but it will be Geehaw Field.
Interesting. Very fascinating. All
Just
right.
Opinion man, Alon to say, Derek Papa, we're coming to you the day after the 4th of July, and we got a lot to talk about. Of course, our hero at this time of year, Joey Chestnut, getting muster belt 18. No surprise there. The latest with LeBron James and Jaylen Brown getting dealt to a rival in the Philadelphia 76ers. I guess some new developments with Brandon Aiyuk. I guess we'll get to that a little bit later. But real quick, Alon, how was your 4th of July? Do you have any family traditions you do on our nation's birthday, I should say, and the birthday of 250?
Yeah, 250. Usually we set off fireworks, but this year we didn't. So kind of interesting. I did not go out and get a bunch of fireworks and blow a bunch of stuff up. Instead, a lot of other people in my parents' neighborhood did, so we just watched that.
Nice.
But yeah, usually just have dinner and do fireworks and hang out with whoever, the neighbors or whatever. And yeah, it was pretty fun. So, but this year it was pretty low key. We actually watched a lot of the ceremonies on TV that they had in DC. My dad wanted to watch that, so we watched a little bit of that.
Nice.
And then had some steak. So similar to you, Derek, had some steak and watched the fireworks from outside the window. And then when I got back to my place, there were still fireworks going off on the strip. So I just, could go on my balcony and see that too. So that was nice as well.
Always a good view from your own home to watch fireworks. That's what I did last night. Where kind of dead over here, a lot of people getting out of town, going to Clear Lake or wherever. And my plans were kind of ruined a little bit. My little brother was supposed to come home, but he didn't. We were supposed to barbecue and everything. But I just walked around the lake, walked around Oakland yesterday. Of course, watched Joey Chestnut and had myself a nice steak dinner as well. Watched some World Cup and watched Gangs of New York. Haven't seen that movie in a little bit of time. Yeah, you know what? Not my favorite Scorsese movie. Not my favorite. It's okay. It's built up as an epic, but there's a lot of flaws in the film, I'd say. But great performance by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, no, it is a good movie. What is your favorite Scorsese movie?
Oh, easy. It's Goodfellas.
Goodfellas is awesome. Yeah. Goodfellas is great.
Yeah.
Mine is actually, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one that I can watch often. It's Shutter Island.
Dude, Shutter Island is underrated, and I always say, if you know the ending already and you watch it again, it's hilarious.
Yeah, if you know the ending, it is kind of funny because it's you're just watching a movie, and it is funny because of his relationship with who's the co-star, the guy who played the Hulk. It's
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah, he's like, "You okay, boss?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. We got to figure this out." Yeah, so when it is very funny. You
just see a man going insane and everybody around him entertaining it, being like, "Oh, you think so, huh? Okay."
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like one big it's like the Truman Show but horror.
Exactly. That's a great way to describe it. Ernie One's in the chat here saying, spoiler alert. Yeah, I know. The movie's 16 years old? On. People have seen it at this point.
Ernie, you said The Irishman?
Irishman. I got to say, Irishman is good, not great. Again, the last maybe great mafia movie we'll ever get with all those actors. Pacino, De Niro, Pesci. Not my favorite Scorsese movie, though. But it's good. It's good.
CGI is weird.
Yeah, the deep fake stuff. Or not even deep fake, but
de-aging or whatever.
Yeah, de-aging. Make him De Niro look younger. I never was a fan of that. Nah.
Yeah, it's always weird, but the Casino's good too. I mean, there's a lot.
Love Casino. Love The Departed. Wolf of Wall Street. So I may get into, after the Mexico and England game tonight, I may get into a little Aviator because I haven't seen that one in a while either.
Oh, the Aviator, the Howard Hughes movie.
Howard Hughes, yes. But yeah, dude, my July 4th was spent how I always do, watching Joey Chestnut and prove how he's an American hero and why he's a Bay Area hero and why he's an athlete.
Oh.
And we were talking about this the other day on Dirty Work. Brody Brazil was on with us, and I was like, do you consider Joey Chestnut an athlete? And he goes, yeah, I mean, do you consider race car drivers athletes? And I'm like, yes, in their own way. But I think we came to the conclusion that if you're going to compare him as an athlete to other true athletes, like we were having the conversation of like, yeah, his dominance is like that of Serena Williams. And then Brody Brazil was like, you can't compare Joey Chestnut to Serena Williams. That's not fair. I was like, yeah, okay. So then you could say that he's an athlete, but in his own way, he's not more of an athlete than, I guess, true athletes. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it is, because it's a niche. This is the problem. I don't even know if you can call it a sport, but there is some athletic endeavor going on there, even if it's eating food and it's disgusting. They are doing it with speed and dexterity, though. So, yeah.
And scheme of the hot dogs in the water and the soggy buns on the side.
Yeah, how many different strategies are there? Because some guys just go for it. Some guys don't do that's a mistake. If you don't do the dunk, you're already behind. Like, you're not going to hit the second guy, and he was doing the dunk, but he only hit like 50 hot dogs.
Bertoletti?
Yeah, he only got like 50 or 51, and Chestnut beat him by like 15.
So he won 2 years ago when you could consider him the Houston Rockets of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, because Joey Chestnut was out. What was it? Had to be 2024.
Yeah.
So he had what was it? He had a deal with a vegan hot dog company.
Yep.
And Big Vegan got in the way of Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and Joey Chestnut did not compete, which I think most of us that watch this ceremony are like, well, then there's no ceremony then. George Shea could get up there and do his whole thing of, are you ready to ride the dragon, sip from the volcano? Or no, sorry, I fucked it up. It's ride the tornado, sip from the volcano, and make love to the dragon. That's what he says every time to introduce Joey Chestnut and all the other competitive eaters, including Badlands. Do you know this guy, the big guy that chugs lemonade?
No, I don't know that
guy. Okay, I know this way too much, but yeah, he raps, and then George Shea, the commissioner of Major League Eating, gets in on the act. Is like, gonna eat with Badlands, compete with Badlands.
I gotta see this.
Yes, it's incredible. But there was no competition, and that's my thing. There was no. I guess it wasn't a big deal 2 years ago because Joey Chestnut wasn't a part of it. And Patrick Bertoletti, in his own way, is a great eater, but not to the likes of Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut's only lost this thing once, not to Kobayashi, but to Matt Stoney, like 10 years ago. Another guy from San Jose who now strictly just does YouTube videos. But at 42 years old, Joey Chestnut's done this thing 18 times. His only competition was Kobayashi, even though he dominated him. They competed a couple years ago, I want to say 2 years ago, at this Labor Day hot dog eating competition on Netflix. But the truth is, I kind of do this like tongue in cheek a little bit. Like I always tell people, like, yeah, I always am psyched up for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. I wake up at 9 o'clock our time and watch it. The broadcast is ridiculous with what's his name? Outside the Lines guy.
Bob.
No.
No, it's not Bob Lee. Who is it?
No, it's son of a famous broadcaster. I'm Adam Schapp or what's his name? God damn, it's gonna bother me. Anyway, he's like a really respected journalist. And Richard Shea is the brother of George Shea. They do this ridiculous Jeremy Schapp, ESPN. He does that along with Richard Shea, and they do this comedic broadcast. I'll never forget it, like years ago, where they actually asked the crowd, like, so who do you think's going to win today? Oh, Joey Chestnut, man, he's going to eat 75 hot dogs. I can feel it. Well, you can't argue with science. Back to you. Like it's just like ridiculous stuff. I forget what was said yesterday. Like they compared. I want to say like Jeremy Schapp at one point said, like, I think the dominance of Joey Chestnut has to be compared to Babe Ruth. And then Richard Shea goes, well, you know, Babe Ruth played baseball and he's been dead for quite some time. But yeah, I guess that's some kind of comparison. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, and I lean into it. I understand it's a joke, but also as a guy that was enthralled with the good, the bad, the hungry, and I know that sounds ridiculous to people, but it was a 30 for 30 on Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi and Major League Eating. There is like a good rivalry there. Mm-hmm. And I honestly, like they were at the top of their game. And honestly, the way that Kobayashi was ostracized from the game is kind of ridiculous. And I just think I kind of miss that competition where every year you're like, yeah, it's fun to see Joey Chestnut eat 70 hot dogs. And yesterday he got 67. He doesn't need to go for 70 or 75. His watermark is 76, but he doesn't need to eclipse that because no one's coming down his throat. Pun intended.
Phrasing. No, he's just not being pushed into that greatness anymore. Like he's still being great. He's winning championships, but he's not being pushed to that level these days. That's true. And I was reading up on some of the stats. So he's competed like 21 times. He's won 18 of these or something like that. I mean, that's insane. What I didn't know is the prize is only $10,000.
Yeah, but you know what? He does so many competitions throughout the year. Like this is just, we see this on a national level, but Joey Chestnut's going to like local places here in the Bay Area and eating like chicken wings or, deviled eggs or like nasty shit. He does that all year long and makes money from that. So he's going to keep doing this until his doctor tells him otherwise. But yeah, I kind of I don't know. I enjoy watching it and people get grossed out by it. I'm desensitized to the whole thing now, but I kind of want some competition. Who's going to be that new young eater that's going to take over the league? And the truth is, I don't think they've prepared for that properly. They just built this whole thing around Joey Chestnut.
There's got to be some like Andre the Giant type guy out there who can just eat or drink.
Yeah, but it's never guys you think that fit the image. Like Eric Badlands, the guy I was talking about, he doesn't even try. He's just a big dude. Joey Chestnut has like, I don't know, he's trained for this. Like, you ever seen that ridiculous clip of him having like a weight in his mouth?
Yep.
He trains for this moment. He's got like a little bit of a gut, but he's not like a fat guy by any means. And it's like, the Nathan's hot dogs eating contest has come a long way from what it used to be, where it was just like some average Joes eating funnel cake, or even like an appearance from William the Refrigerator Perry. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want some competition for Joey Chestnut, but I doubt we're going to get it. And that will be, once he steps away from this thing, that'll probably be the end of Major League Eating, which is sad.
Lincoln Kennedy, probably in his younger days, because he has the record up at some like sports bar wing place or whatever up near UW. So like back when he was,
I could see that, yeah,
either in college or right after college, he ate like 100 wings or something insane. I forget what the story is, but yeah, maybe a guy like that if he doesn't want to play football.
Yeah, we need some retired NFL players to participate in this thing. By the way, speaking of retired NFL players on 4th of July, dude, I'm glad we didn't get any stories because, God, over 10 years ago, I want to say now, we had the Jason Pierre-Paul incident where he blew off his fingers.
Yep.
And then last year, Najee Harris went to a 4th of July celebration thing, I think in a warehouse, and a lot of people were injured in that. And he got blinded by one of the fireworks and had to start the Chargers training camp with I guess on PUP with an eye patch over one of his eyes. But yeah, thank God we didn't have any stories like that this weekend.
Nothing will ever beat the JPP one. And people are like, well, how did that happen?
Insane.
I'm like, you know what? That guy was probably like flicking firecrackers out, and one of them just went off fast, and then boom, that's what happened. Probably big M80s too.
Yeah. But all right, as far as like, I guess, real sports, the biggest thing going on right now is the World Cup. And funny enough, we got Ernie One in the chat here, but I got Rock a New Era and AJ Cruz complaining we don't talk about World Cup enough, or football over football, and we're doing it right now. And where are these guys? Regardless, we got a huge matchup tomorrow, along with USA versus Belgium. But let's start with the big news that just happened about an hour ago. Is it Florian?
Yeah, Folarin.
Folarin is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Everyone's been calling him Flo, but I'll just go with Flo Balogun. He got a red card in USA's victory over Bosnia. and he was going to miss this game tomorrow. And I guess the red card was rescinded. I don't know the proper terminology here, Alon. I know I said suspended. I don't know if maybe they're going to look further upon this, but is the red card totally eliminated right now?
So they suspended the red card ban for the match. So the red card stands, but the ban for the match doesn't, which I love.
So basically, the only punishment would be that he missed, the rest of the game against Bosnia.
Pretty much as it stands now, that's what it looks like. But it's FIFA, so FIFA's notorious for doing stupid things. They could be like, he's banned for the first 15 minutes of the game after that if they advance, but at this point, it looks like that red card's not going to come back to haunt him whatsoever, or Team USA, which is wonderful because I was losing my mind. I was like, I don't want to see Haji Wright play. I definitely don't want to see Timothy Weah play. And I was like, I would just play the game without a number 9. I would play without a striker, and I would just play with another midfielder because I don't want to see that. And I would rather see like McKennie and Dest and Jedi make like overlapping runs into the box, everything inward. But this solves all that. So it looks like Balogun's going to play.
Now, is this unprecedented? Like, has this ever happened before where a guy gets a red card but not suspended for the next game?
I can't remember a time where this has happened, and not in a World Cup where a guy has gotten a red card, has a match ban, and then FIFA comes in and goes, yeah, he can play. But I would have to look that up if that's happened. But I cannot remember an instance where that has happened, because usually this kind of thing doesn't happen to begin. This kind of like review of a review does not happen. But VAR is still relatively new, so maybe that's why FIFA stepped in.
Yeah, what do you think about, I guess, the call itself? Let's start with the victory. Just your thoughts, Alon. It was electric here in the Bay Area. Everybody was excited. I was at Chase Center for the watch party. The main, I guess, quad area or concourse, whatever you want to call it, where you usually watch Warriors games outside the arena. That was packed. It was max capacity. And then on the other side where we were by Harmonic, nice lawn chairs, everybody watching the match. Just your thoughts on USA's 2-0 victory over Bosnia.
It was awesome. I thought Bosnia played a really physical game. They needed to. Their whole goal was to either get lucky on a counterattack here or there. They did have their opportunities. USA did look sloppy in a few instances, but rare instances. But they were just trying to get to extra time and then eventually penalties. That was probably their best chance. They weren't able to do it. The red card was pretty brutal, but it was, in a way, now kind of not a good thing for the United States, but it probably imbued them with a little extra grit as well, because they played with a man down for the last 25 minutes of regular time. And so I think that was a good thing. That's a building thing for them. But overall, it was a good game. I thought, the United States, they were never going to lose that game. It was just how dangerous was Bosnia going to be to them. And for the most part, the United States neutralized them. So it was a good game. It was a good thing to watch, and I'm glad we advanced. But now it gets tough. Because you got to play Belgium.
Yeah. So just your thoughts on the red card with Balogun. I'm not going to act like I know what is fair, what's not fair in soccer when it comes to red cards. I know that I'm not a fan of targeting in college football, the whole rule where if they call you for that in the latter portion of a game, you could be suspended for the next game. Not a fan of that. I didn't love, I guess, from everybody was saying, like with Balogun, it was ticky-tacky. I think Messi was called for, or not called for something similar that happened in the World Cup. I saw Victor Wembanyama do worse in the NBA Finals. So just your thoughts on the actual call itself of Balogun being called for a red card in the match against Bosnia.
I thought it was a cardable offense for sure. My big issue was that it was VAR that ended up turning it into a red card. Now, I did look it up real quick. So I know in club level football, like Liga or EPL, like English Premier League, it does get red card bans can get rescinded, but like in the international level, I don't remember a time where it has. But the foul itself, it's a bad foul. Like it's a dangerous play that happened, but there was no like intent behind it. I don't think Balogun was trying to do that at all. it was just kind of an awkward position. His spikes are up, though. He does get them like from the calf all the way down to the ankle, and it's pretty nasty. But it wasn't called on the field. Then they went to VAR to look at it, and then when you freeze it or when you put it in slow-mo, Thierry Henry said this, look, when you freeze that, it looks horrible. And if you're going to freeze that and look at it, yeah, you're probably going to give it a card. It ended up being a red card. I thought after they went to VAR, I was like, they'll probably give it a yellow because they didn't call anything in the field of play, but instead it ended up being a red. So I thought that was a bullshit call. I thought it was really bad. I thought that official was pretty awful as well. I thought he lost control of the game quite a few times, but in the end, I guess everything, doesn't really matter. But it shouldn't have been a red card. In the field of play, if he would have given it a red, I would have been like, man, that's rough. But yeah, looking at it now, really bad foul. But if my thing is, if you don't call it on the field, yes, VAR is there to assist you to get something right. But I don't think you can make such a monumental decision on something that is incidental with a red card. Now, if it was incidental and he spiked him in the freaking face, that would have been awful, right? If he would have come in a very dangerous position, right, with his leg up, something like that, then yeah, I can see that. But this was very much two players fighting over the ball, trying to get in position, and it was just awkward positioning that caused this to happen. So, yeah, I mean, I understand why some people think, yeah, you could give that a red, and you probably could, which he did, but I don't think that was the appropriate thing to do in that situation.
Regardless, USA moves on, taking on Belgium tomorrow. Just your thoughts on the way that the men's national team has played so far, Alon. And I've heard this on the radio from either Dieter Kurtenbach or Rick Tittle. Do you think home field advantage is playing a role here in how well they're playing? And what do you make of some criticism when it comes to the opponents that USA has played so far?
Look, they played in a pretty soft group. There's no doubt about that. They got a very favorable matchup against Bosnia-Herzegovina. There's no doubt about that either. It's definitely been nice. It's been really nice. So, and I think FIFA intentionally set this up in a way for the three host countries to have pretty favorable groups and settings to get into the knockout round, which they did. Canada, though, ended up losing. Much harder matchup with who'd they play? Morocco, I believe. But yeah, I mean, the competition hasn't been super, super tough for the United States, but they've done what they needed to do. On their actual play, I will say I haven't seen a United States team this confident on the ball like ever in my lifetime. And the 2002 team made it all the way to the quarterfinals and they lost, but that's the deepest run that the United States has ever had, unless you want to go back to like the 1930s when there were only 12 teams or 13 teams in the tournament and they made it to the semifinals. But that don't really count because it's not the World Cup as we know it today.
Right.
So I think their play has been really good. Their possession game has been great. Defensively, they've had some mishaps here and there, but their athletic ability has been able to bail them out. But I think their biggest attribute so far is they've been able to dominate possession against these teams. What I am very curious is, are they going to be able to do that against better teams? Like Belgium's a good team. Belgium's not a great team. They're an older team, but they do still have good players on their team, and they're a European power, even if they haven't won a World Cup, but they're a European power who knows how to play possession football. So I'm curious to see if the United States can keep imposing their will. So something the United States has been great at doing through these games is they've been able to really not play behind their own midfield line. They've been able to really play on the other team's end quite a bit, create pressure. They're constantly getting into the corners. They're getting into areas that make it difficult when the opponent has possession themselves. They're making the right decisions. I want to see what this looks like when they play against a team who is of higher caliber, and we haven't seen that yet. Paraguay should have been a test, but yeah, we saw how that went.
And do you consider Belgium a true test? Like, how would you preview this matchup tomorrow?
Belgium is a true test. If the United States can get through Belgium, then I think that is a true test. Now, the problem with Belgium is they have been relying on a 33-year-old striker now. I think he's got to be in his early 30s. Is Romelu Lukaku to bail them out from time to time. But I think that the United States can still do a good job against Belgium. But Belgium's got good midfielders. They know how to play the game correctly. Their possession numbers have been good. So they're not an easy out for the United States. But if the U.S. is able to maintain possession of the ball, keep their pressure up, I'm a little bit worried about. I'm always worried about Tim Ream because he is older, even though he is the captain. But if they're able to make sure that their back line doesn't get stressed too much, and a lot of that has to do with how the forwards are playing in the midfield as well, then they have a very, very good chance at winning this game. I'm not sure who is favored. It's probably the United States, I would say, is probably favored.
Yeah.
But a slight favorite. I think the United States should win this. And back to the home field advantage thing. Look, they're going to be playing in Seattle, which is perfect. Big soccer culture in Seattle. Lumen Field is a wonderful place for soccer. That's where the Seattle Sounders play. That place is going to be loud. It's going to be rocking, and it should be perfect for Team USA to be able to get a victory. But they have to be able to continue this possession game that they've been able to pull off so far against inferior competition. And if they're not able to do that, let's just say the possession numbers are not in their favor in this game. Then they're going to have to figure out ways to score without the. Basically, we're going to have to go back to old school USA football, which is very much a counterattacking game, which, yes, it can work, and it does work, especially if your defense is rock solid, but I don't want to go back to that. I want to see the United States dominate the ball.
And as far as the other matchups, I mean, would you say, Alon, that this has been – I only started watching the World Cup 20 years ago, and on and off again, so I'm not a good frame of reference or anything. But would you say that these matches have been the most competitive that you've seen in your lifetime?
Quite a few of them have been. I think just like there's no way of getting around that we saw on Friday one of the most dramatic matches ever in a
Cape Verde?
knockout. Yeah. Cabo Verde versus Argentina was incredible. And the goal that they scored to tie it up, not just twice, not the first time, but the second time was an amazing strike. And I don't know, that game just had everything. And Argentina, that's one of those games where it's like you're a championship team, right? Because, they're defending. And the thing is, it's like you get through something like that, and all of a sudden it's like, man, we have a real chance at this now. Now, you don't expect that to happen against a team of a country where the population is 500,000 people or whatever it is in Cabo Verde. So, but yeah, no, the games have been pretty darn good. The fact that, on the first day of the knockout round, we get Netherlands versus Morocco, which is a top 10 matchup. That goes to PKs. We got Germany, Paraguay. That went to PKs. Germany gets to go home upset. And then Australia, Egypt, that went to PKs. Like,
yeah, that was electric.
Yeah, these have been competitive games. Belgium, Senegal, that was a great game as well, because that ended up going late too, and Belgium had to come from behind with that because they weren't able to tie it up until the 89th minute, and then it ends up getting broken in extra time. So yeah, no, it's been a really, I think the group stage had some games that were real stinkers, but every group stage has that. Like, you're always going to have Germany versus Curacao or a game like that where it's 7-1. Like, that does happen during the group stage, especially in an expanded field. But in terms of the overall quality of the game, I think we've been really spoiled so far. And, I love this sport, and I've been watching it probably my whole life, and I call it for college. So it's been awesome to watch. And then today we got some really fun games. Like, it's going to be fun to see Holland for Norway go against Brazil. It's going to be interesting to see if Brazil can, make their beautiful game keep going in this modern era. And more importantly, Mexico versus England. That is going to be a massive tilt at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, our guy Stephen Langford will be on pins and needles with that game. The second most popular team in America is Team Mexico the other night when they beat Ecuador. God, everybody around here, right outside the athletic club, everybody was celebrating, banging on drums. It was fun, and I think that Mexico fans know how to celebrate a little bit more than USA fans. But what do you think about that matchup tonight, Alon? That's going to be in Mexico City, and that's got to be electric.
Yeah, it's that game is going to be insane. Look, Mexico is, I don't want to say unbeatable on home turf, especially at the Azteca, but they're pretty close to it. So unfortunately for them, they drew England here, and England is not always the kindest to Mexico, but England has not shown, I mean, they've been good so far. And in terms of just raw talent, they're one of the most talented teams in the world. I mean, I would still put them in the top 4, but they had to get bailed out by Harry Kane against the Congo. I mean, they were down. I know the Congo scored really early in that game, like 7th or 8th minute or something, but Harry Kane ends up having to come in. He's in the game the whole time, but he has to end up scoring 2 goals late in order for them to advance. I mean, they could have got knocked out by the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So we'll see what happens there, but that game is going to be about making sure that Marcus Rashford doesn't do the kinds of things that he's capable of doing with his speed on the wing there. Need to make sure that they are able to keep Harry Kane in check. And then Jude Bellingham is always a great player as well. So, I mean, England is a good team, but I think this Mexico roster is actually constructed in a way that is perfect for international football. Everybody plays exactly where they need to play. It's a really, really good, it's a well-constructed team. And it's not a super team by any measures, but they do have a really good striker in terms of Raul Jimenez. He's great.
Yeah.
We've seen some of the younger players come on, like Mora. That was great to see. I think Mexico has a really good shot at this. And talking about home field advantage, they do have a home field advantage.
Yeah.
The United States, I mean, always better for us to play at home. Mexico, there's no doubt about it. Playing at the Azteca, even with the renovation that has reduced the capacity from like 100,000 to like 85, that place is still insane. You have the, above sea level advantage, the weather advantage, the smog in the air, all that stuff, all things that people from England aren't used to.
Yeah, and just to go back to Friday's match, and I'm looking forward to Sunday at 5 o'clock tonight. Unbelievable between Mexico and England. But Cape Verde almost knocking off Argentina. We talked about the biggest upsets in World Cup history. Where would that rank if that actually happened?
If that happened, that would have been like the biggest of all time.
Yeah,
without a doubt, because it's the defending champions with, even though
Messi.
He's 38, he's still proving that, oh my God, it's like he's gotten more years on his career by going to the MLS. Like, he's not playing these super, super tough games in the Liga in Spain. So instead, it's like he gets to relax in his MLS career, and then he comes out on the international stage and he's scoring goals left and right. Like, eventually Kylian Mbappe, if he keeps up with his pace, will probably break Messi's goal scoring record in the World Cup, just because Mbappe is a freak, but and a hell of a goal scorer. But yeah, that would have been we'd never seen anything like that, Derek, because there's like a team, like those guys, some of those guys on that team are like lawyers and school teachers, and like, they're not, some dude, there's a guy who plays in MLS, but like, that's the kind of country we're talking about, where these guys are not in super leagues or anything like that. They are just a small country who came together and had great goalkeeping from Vozinho, and they were able to scrap and claw their way to where they got. And it is an incredible game. And at the end of that game, it didn't really, like, Argentina won, but that's not really what mattered. What mattered was like, holy shit, did we just see this happen? Because you do not expect that. You just don't. So in my opinion, that would have been like the biggest. It would have been the biggest upset in my lifetime. That's for sure. Maybe there's one back there before I was born that I don't know of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but like, just seeing that happen, and my little brother texted me being like, this would be the equivalent of, he was trying to compare to something like, I don't know, the Giants beating the undefeated Patriots, but I don't think that's an apt comparison. But he was just saying how monumental this would be, and then me and Adam Copeland and Danny Dunn got to the Glen Park Station bar, watched the second half of that game, and everybody in the bar was rooting for Cape Verde, and it was just fun. It was so much fun. And I'm not a soccer fan. I'm not going to act like I am, but it's just like the same thing with watching Team USA in the Winter Olympics. I'm not a huge hockey fan. I love watching the San Jose Sharks and a lot of good pickups the last few days. But I think that this brings us all together, and this is a lot of fun. And I can't wait to watch tonight with England and Mexico, especially when I got nothing nothing on the line for me. But I know our guy Stephen Langford will be crapping his pants that entire game. And then tomorrow, USA versus Belgium. Can't wait to watch. So this has just been a ton of fun. Real quick, Alon, have you seen some of the moves the Sharks have made the last few days?
I have seen a few of them, and real quick, Derek, I'm trying to think of like what if Cabo Verde was able to do what that would be the equivalent of. And I can think of like two equivalents. So just take the reigning World Series champ, right? That would be the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
Let's say they lost to like a really good Double-A team. Like
not even the Rockies.
No, we're not even. That's the thing. We're not even talking about the same level of. It's not.
That's a good comparison.
Exactly. So it'd be like that, or like if
I was going to compare it in football, the one that comes to mind immediately would be 1996. The expansion Jaguars go into Denver. John Elway and Terrell Davis. That team was stacked and knocked them out in the second round. But even that, with the way that you're saying it, like in baseball, be a minor league team. I don't even know if that's on the same level of what could have happened on Friday.
Yeah, so it's something like, but that's kind of where we'd have to go with that, because we don't really have anything. Like it's easier in soccer in some of the other nations, right, to show what that would look like because of relegation and things like that. But we don't really have anything like that, so we'd have to make up. I mean, our biggest sports upset in the United States sports history, maybe not biggest, but one of the biggest would be Michigan versus App State. But Michigan was not as good as they used to be.
Yeah.
But let's just say that was the defending national champion Michigan team, and they lost to a team worse than App State. That's what that would have been.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens with USA and Belgium and Mexico and England tonight. Real quick, Alon, just your thoughts on some of the Sharks pickups. I'm not going to act like I know a lot of these names. Mason Marchment. Of course, I guess I'm not going to act like I know this very well, but a significant pickup because of his father, Brian Marchment, who was with the San Jose Sharks back in the day. And then there's I guess, Jacob Trouba, and then there's Darnell Nurse, who I asked some fans what they thought about this, and this is probably the most controversial move that Mike Greer has made because it's going to help the defense, but a guy that has, I guess, kind of a bad reputation is a dirty player in hockey.
Yeah, he's, you know what? Fans are probably saying that right now, but he's been at Edmonton. We know the way that Nurse plays, but he's one of those guys that you want on your team. So they needed that. They needed some help back there, and they needed someone to bring some more grit, and even if it is borderline, I think they did need a player like that. Marchment's a good pickup as well. I wonder how many games he'll play. I think he only played 39 40 games or something like that last year, but you can tell that they're trying to fill out the rest of the team, and they're doing it in a way, I think, with players that are not going to break the bank, because they know Mike Greer knows that he needs to lock up Macklin and Will Smith for the long term. So that's, I think, the whole goal of this. Now, the other thing is they do still have Colin Graff. He's because Makmadulin,
fan favorite. People love him.
Yeah, Makmadulin was traded, and Colin Graff is he's the last restricted free agent that they have. They do need to figure out and I like him too. So they need to figure out what they're going to be able to do with him. I wouldn't want to leave him in that restricted status for too long. I would say extend him, but I like what the Sharks are doing. They're filling out their roster. They know what the core of this team is. They know that their strength goes through Macklin and that first line, basically. And now they're trying to fill it out to figure out, okay, if we fill this out with some veterans here, get some more defenseman help, things like that, like Trouba as well. You bring in another goalie who'd add some depth too. So they're trying to figure out how far could this team as constructed now go. This could be a team that definitely gets into the first round of the playoffs. And then after that, you assess again and you go, okay, so these are kind of our missing pieces to get to that next level. Because kind of, you know how it is in the NHL. If you can punch your ticket into the playoffs, you have a really good chance.
Oh yeah, dude. And there's huge expectations for the Sharks this year. Last year it was, can they be an ascending team? Can they show some growth? And even with them missing the postseason last year, there are huge expectations. I watched some of these interviews with Marchman and Trouba and Nurse, all of them saying, I wanted to come here. So it's great to hear, like, once upon a time, San Jose was a destination for free agents, but it's the case once again because of Macklin Celebrini. So I can't wait to watch the Sharks this year. Big expectations. And hopefully big expectations for the Golden State Warriors if they land LeBron James. But I got to be honest, since we did a podcast last on Tuesday, my confidence level that has dwindled just a tad. Because I don't think there's anything concrete out there. Now, just to give you the latest with LeBron James, he has yet to sign, which I find a little surprising. I thought that he would pull a Kevin Durant 10 years ago and announce where he's going on July 4th, but he didn't make it about himself, which I'm kind of happy about that. But Rich Paul, I think, told Mark Medina yesterday that it's going to take a couple of days here, so I would assume it happens this week. LeBron James, there were some conflicting reports that he was in L.A. He's actually in Cleveland and having a good time in Cleveland. He was doing a reunion with all of his buddies from the 2016 team. And he stayed in Cleveland. He's got a house there, obviously. And I guess last night there's some pictures of him just going around town, having fun with people. And I wonder if that's swaying him in a certain direction. Of course, it would make a ton of sense for him to end his career where it started. But the latest from reporters, Anthony Slater, a couple days ago said that the Warriors are on LeBron James short list, but not at the top. And Sham Charania said basically the same thing. In order to entice LeBron James, the Warriors need to make a significant move. Now, this contradicts what Ramona Shelburne said was they want to get a commitment from LeBron James that he would join the team regardless of acquiring Anthony Davis. It sounds like the Warriors, in order to get LeBron James, need to get Anthony Davis or somebody else, whether that's Trey Murphy or Rui Hachimura, who's still out there. But it sounds like right now, Alon, the Warriors don't have enough to entice LeBron James, which I thought Steph Curry and Draymond Green alone would be the reason why LeBron James would want to join them. But this whole thing of, playing with happiness, yes, that is the case, but also meaningful basketball, which I've heard Steph Curry say numerous times. I think that playing with Steph Curry would be meaningful basketball to LeBron James, but the end-all, be-all is he wants to win. Now, he could have won easily with the Lakers. I think there's also an element of respect here. And I don't know if he's going to get that same respect with the Miami Heat, or now the 76ers have come into the conversation, or even the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, he would get respect from the city and the organization, but basketball-wise, he's never played with Donovan Mitchell. I'm not sure he wants to play with James Harden. It would be where the Warriors in their recruitment forced LeBron James would say, we need you, which I'm hoping they are saying that. I can't believe I'm saying this now, but, desperate times call for desperate measures when it comes to this, because the Warriors have nothing else right now. They let all their other options fall by the wayside, where Giannis is in Miami, Kawhi Leonard's going to Toronto. They need LeBron James. The Miami Heat could say, we don't need LeBron. It'd be nice, but we don't need him. The Cleveland Cavaliers can say, yeah, it'd be nice to get LeBron James, but we don't need him. It'd be a nice story and attraction for the arena this year. The Warriors need LeBron James to compete. Otherwise, they're just running it back. So now there's a lot of people saying that the Cavaliers are the favorites. Mark Stein is saying the league is kind of anticipating he does sign with Cleveland. But I'll believe it when I see it. There's some people out there that still say the Warriors have a really good chance to sign him. Mario Chalmers, his old teammates, has a gut feeling he's going to sign with the Warriors. So I think that there is an element of the happiness he would play with Steph and the respect that he would have from Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr. But it sounds like the storybook ending is also very enticing of going back to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, he not only did he go back to Cleveland, hang out with old teammates, he also hung out with, I guess, some of his old high school teammates as well when he was back there. I read that additionally. But Yeah, I can understand the appeal of Cleveland from the sentimentality standpoint. Yeah, I don't know. Look, Cleveland's already really good. There's no doubt he makes them better, but I don't know if that's the kind of team he wants to play on, at the end of his career here. I think that from a basketball standpoint, there's no better situation for him than playing with a bunch of veterans who are also all-time greats. But one thing I did see, and I don't know if you saw this, Derek, but there was a report that Mark Medina, it was either yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, where an anonymous NBA executive, and I always, get a little standoffish when I hear those words, but an anonymous NBA executive said he ultimately thinks that LeBron James will sign with the Warriors for, quote, various reasons. But I mean, the reasons are all things that we've laid out, and it has to do with playing with Steph Curry and Steve Kerr and Draymond Green. Part of me, did you watch the Rich Paul, Max Kellerman?
Oh, yes, I did, my friend, where he went full on Pepe Sylvia with his whiteboard.
Yes. Yeah. The crazy whiteboard. And then Max is like, well, I have to wonder why is, the Warriors are in the corner there. And Rich was, that doesn't mean anything. I'm like, okay, yeah, we know you're drumming up.
Yes. Sorry to cut you off real quick, Alon. Just focus on that real quick. I didn't put anything into that because he's got the 76ers in one corner and the Timberwolves. And I think Rich Paul, he knows where he's going to sign. This is just the song and dance they do to drum up more media interest and more team interest. Yep. And yes, in the left corner of the whiteboard, he had Steph and Draymond and nothing else, but there were other names attached to other teams. At one point, I want to say there was a shot of the Mavericks, and the reason he would sign with the Mavericks was because of Cooper Flag, golf, and oil. Oil?
Oil. Yeah. Well, LeBron is a businessman too. So
yes, he is.
And a philanthropist. So oil money would help him with his businesses as well as his further philanthropy. But yeah, no, I didn't put a lot of stock into the whole board thing. I did like that Max kind of made a big deal about it. But yeah, this was just to drum up interest. But I kind of think the longer this goes, there's a lot of teams that were on that board and just that have been named in general that are not going to happen, right? Like the New York Knicks, that's not happening. We know,
Rich Paul said if they didn't win the championship, he would be there, which is the same thing I heard 10 years ago with Kevin Durant, the reason he signed with the Warriors.
Yeah, so I think, but the reason I'm saying New York Knicks is not happening is because they did just win the championship. So
exactly,
that's not going to happen. Minnesota, I think, is very intriguing. I think that would make a lot of sense from a basketball perspective, but I don't see that happening. Boston, same kind of thing. Basketball standpoint, great, but I don't. So I think the Warriors are trying to make this one last move before they do get LeBron James, and I'm not sure what that is. But I kind of think that's part of what this waiting period is about for the Warriors. And they are in this position where, there's also reports that say they don't think that they are the front runners, even though they are on the short list. And I'm like, okay, that's some interesting posturing as well. But someone mentioned in the chat last time we were on, Derek, I forget who it was, but they said, with Kristaps signed, basically, you could trade him and figure something out. So
that
was
also Don Peralta last time, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it was Don P who said that, and that's a good point. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that this kind of waiting period that's going on right now gives the Warriors a chance to go attack one more piece, and I don't know who that would be, in order to make things even a little more appealing. But I don't even think they need that. I think at the end of the day, this is one of those things where it's LeBron James is going through his process like he always does. And then it's going to be this big decision. And I just don't really see too many right options for him. Cleveland, yeah. Miami, yeah. No, not really. The Warriors, it's Cleveland and the Warriors. And I just see him going to the Warriors over going to Cleveland. And it's no offense to Cleveland. It's not that they don't have a good team. They do. It just has to do with the fact the guy lives in California. Warriors are in a better market. Warriors have more legendary players. Warriors, this would be kind of a capstone to a legacy kind of deal, whereas the other move is doing something he's already done. He's already gone back to Cleveland. He's already gone back to Cleveland and won a championship and carried their asses.
Yeah.
He won't have to carry them anymore, but Do you really want to do that again? So I think LeBron James is someone who wants to try something new, and he's always been doing that. And so I think the Warriors make the most sense. I think the waiting period is very much just the process that him and Rich Paul go through. And you can't tell me that it's just hopeful thinking that Draymond Green opted out. That's still the biggest piece of information for me, is you can't tell me that's still just hopeful thinking that he opted out, because whether that means they're going to be able to go get another superstar to pair up with LeBron James or anybody else, I think that's very significant still.
It is, and I think that it's also low risk. But when your agent is Rich Paul and he's pulling the strings behind this whole LeBron James thing, and he tells you the best thing to do is to opt out of your contract,
yep,
you're fucking with my money. If then you go and sign with somebody else, which Draymond, I don't think would be pissed off about that. I think he would understand, and then he just signs back with the Warriors. But I think that everything you're saying, Lon, I agree with. I think that he's been there, done that with the Cavaliers. And Dub6 in the chat here says, y'all could have him back. Cleveland can be 2 or 3 moves away from competing, but signing LeBron is not the move. I think it's hard for the Warriors to compete with the nostalgia that LeBron James would have going back to Cleveland and being kind of looked at as a god there, as he always is. But when I think about just the basketball of it, yes, they were 1 series away from going to the NBA Finals, and they are an ascending team. They've been more than that. They've been a team that's been competing in the Eastern Conference for a while now. Got upset by the Pacers last year and lost to a better team in the Knicks this year. What's the next piece for them? Is it LeBron James? Maybe. But when I think about it, like, does he want to play with James Harden? Does he want to be second fiddle to Donovan Mitchell? Does he want to play for Kenny Atkinson? Is the whole analytics conversation that Kenny Atkinson had, is that going to fly with LeBron James if they're down in a series? I think LeBron sees Cleveland as home, but also an organization that he can control. So let's say that they have a slow start. He can go to Dan Gilbert and say, I want Kenny Atkinson fired. And he can dictate moves. He can have Bronny. There's a report out there that Bronny is welcomed by the Cavaliers. Can he have that same power with the Warriors? No, because Steph runs things. Draymond runs things. Steve Kerr runs things. But would he have respect on many levels as far as a coach that coached him in the Olympics and 2 players that run the organization, but also would take a back seat to him when it comes to basketball? Now, does he look at that as, I got to carry the Warriors a little bit more than the Cavaliers? Yeah, maybe. But I think he would have the most, I think basketball-wise, he'd have the most fun with the Warriors. And life, I think you'd have the most fun with the Cavaliers. But it's hard to bring your whole family with you back to Cleveland, or maybe not. Maybe they just stay in L.A. Who knows? Maybe that's an element that's been brought up. I don't know if necessarily that's something he's thinking about. So I'll say this: I think it's down to 2 teams. I think it's the Warriors and Cavs. And wouldn't it be the least bit surprised if he signs with the Warriors? Wouldn't it be the least bit surprised if he signs with the Cavaliers too? Because it's hard to pass that up. It's hard to pass up going home. A team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago, you can make the argument that it'd be equal parts meaningful basketball, but also joy of ending your career that way. I just think that also he's going to have a hard time saying no to Steph Curry when for years now he said, I want to play with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it could go either way at this point. But I'll say this. If the Warriors don't land LeBron James, they're kind of screwed because it's the same team from a year ago. So far, there's no new moves. Pat Spencer left, and I love Pat Spencer. Good, scrappy guy. Played lacrosse into the NBA, and that moment against the Sixers last year where I forget the exact line, but he's like, I'm that motherfucker or something like that. So he was a Steve Kerr guy. But I'm not going to act like, oh, man, he left. Where's our team now? Like, the Warriors need to make other moves. And Trey Murphy's a name that's been brought up for quite some time. There's a report out there that the Pelicans have lowered their asking price from 4 first-round picks to 3. Do they get in that conversation? I don't know if that's enough for LeBron James. Like, ooh, Trey Murphy. He likes Rui Hachimura from the Lakers days, but he really wants Anthony Davis on the Warriors. And I don't think the Cavs nor the Heat or any other team would be like, well, we have to trade for Anthony Davis to get LeBron James. It's only the Warriors that feel that way. Let me ask you this, Alon. DeAndre Ayton got traded from the Lakers to the Wizards, and my initial reaction to do the Brian Windhorst thing was, why would they do that? Now, why would they do that? They already have a young center in Alex Sarr, and they have Anthony Davis, who doesn't play the 5, but he's a big. Why would they do that? Do you think that has any weight or any implication that maybe the Warriors will change course here, or any other team, to go after Anthony Davis because now the Wizards have DeAndre Ayton?
Slightly, but I don't think it changes the calculus that much. I think that's a bolstering move by the Wizards, who think that, well, we're kind of building a nice little core here, and it's up to them whether they want to trade Anthony Davis or not. And Anthony Davis, he could bitch and moan if he really wanted to, but he's not going to do that. At least publicly, he won't.
Well, he has before.
He has before, but I don't think he'll do it in this situation, because how many times can you get away with that? Well, then again, people do. But I tend to be more positive on Anthony Davis when it comes to that.
No, I get that. I think that he may see Washington as his last payday.
Yeah.
Where if he really wants out, he can push his way to the Warriors, and he can play his hand and say, I want a contract extension with you guys too. If I were the Warriors and that's the end all be all, like if you're Mike Dunleavy Jr. and Joe Lacob, and you go to Rich Paul and LeBron James and say, if we get this guy, are you coming? And he says yes, then I do it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Then you do that. It's just a question of whether the Wizards are actually going to do it, because their GM seems to think that, hey, I'm putting together a nice little team here that can maybe do something, with Young, and like you said, Sarr, who's a good player, and now getting DeAndre Ayton, who hasn't lived up to expectations, but still a decent player, and you keep Anthony Davis. But there's another angle here that, it's a little conspiratorial, but I think it's important. At least it's important to me. So Las Vegas is going to get an NBA team here one of these days. And one of the big rumors has been floating around for a long time is that LeBron James would be part of that ownership group, that he wants to get into ownership. So I kind of put that in my calculus, and I was like, man, you're going to go get investors, and not that he needs more friends that have money. I'm sure he's got a lot. But are you going to go get more investors in Cleveland, or are you going to stay in LA, go play for the Warriors in San Francisco, right next to Silicon Valley, make friends with those people, and then say, hey, I've got a venture with the NBA now in Vegas. We're going to get a new team. I need some co-owners to come in with me on this. I mean, that kind of writes itself. So there's some more dot connecting there. I don't know if anybody else is talking about it, but I've been sounding the drum on that one, sounding the horn on that for about the last couple of weeks here. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing. But yeah, Anthony Davis, I said it last podcast, Derek, I'll say it again. I think that like guarantees that LeBron James would come here.
Yeah.
But not having him doesn't not guarantee it, right? So,
yeah,
some people are saying it's a 50-50 between Cleveland and Golden State. I think Golden State has a better chance than Cleveland of getting him. And I just keep going back to the fact that LeBron James has been there and done that with Cleveland.
Yeah.
And playing with James Harden, I love James Harden. He's one of my favorite players in the league. But playing with James Harden might not be something LeBron James wants to do, not because they don't get along or anything like that, but just because styles. Yeah, that might not look. LeBron James, you brought it up, Derek. He might have to do a little more carrying for the Warriors than he would with Cleveland, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the carrying that he would get to do with the Warriors would be like all the things he loves doing, slashing to the hoop, getting the ball in great positions, not having to dominate the ball 24/7. It would be things like that. So I think that is another aspect to it. So I think that there's a lot for him still in California. There's this new unconquered kind of land for the king to go take in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And I think those are things that are appealing to him, and I'd like to see him do that. And like I said, I think somewhere in this calculus has to be post-basketball. And if he really is thinking about getting into ownership in the NBA in a new franchise in Las Vegas, then going to Golden State makes all the sense in the world, because everyone is going to want to get into business with LeBron James.
Yeah, and even in that whiteboard session thing with Max Kellerman, Rich Paul acknowledged that the biggest appeal to the Warriors is Steph Curry and Draymond Green. And yes, Steve Kerr's influence and Joe Lacob as well. So I think LeBron James, I mean, he loves the spotlight, going to the Warriors would be huge. But going back to Cleveland would be an emotional thing for him. But doesn't mean that it will be the best thing basketball-wise. I keep thinking about, like, the fact that he's hanging out there right now. He may be leaning in that direction, but I think of other factors like Kenny Atkinson and James Harden, the reasons why I'm like, I don't think he is going to go there. I think he wants to play with Steph and Draymond. He also cares about, what the narratives are. So is it, the narrative like, oh, he went to go team up with Steph and Draymond, and that's the easy way to end his career? Not really. Not right now, it's not. 10 years ago for Kevin Durant, yes. Yes, it was. But for right now with LeBron James, it's like I said, it is Wild Hogs, it's Space Cowboys, it's the Expendables, it's going out with your best friends. So I'm hoping that happens. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm hoping that happens. But we'll find out in the next couple of days here. One team that has been brought up more in the last few days is the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm not buying that for a second just because they acquired Jaylen Brown. Now, they're loaded, and they also got Anthony Simons. So I think they're a better team in the Eastern Conference, and I was very impressed with them in the first round of the playoffs, upsetting the Boston Celtics, albeit without Jason Tatum for a few games in that series. But the way they were able to come back in that, down 3-1, and now acquiring Jaylen Brown, they are a better team. But just that move, I was surprised. We were at Harmonic on Wednesday, and when I got the notification from Shams Charania that the Boston Celtics have traded Jaylen Brown, their finals MVP of 2 years ago, already to the division rival, but take that out of it. Who cares about divisions anymore? Just their rival for years. The Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, wow, that's a fantastic move for, I'm assuming, Bob Myers and the 76ers. For the Celtics, yeah, Paul George is not Paul George anymore. He did play really well in that playoff series against the Celtics, and that's probably why they wanted him. But man, you couldn't get anything more than that. And yeah, I thought they didn't need to trade him right now. The Celtics are that type of organization that don't feel pressured to make moves. So if I was Brad Stevens, I would have waited until I got the right move. I guess they just didn't want to. They didn't want to be in the Jaylen Brown business anymore. It didn't sound like he was pushing for a trade. His name was brought up with the Giannis sweepstakes, but I guess he felt disrespected by that. But you didn't have to do anything. There was no public outcry from Jaylen Brown. Maybe Jason Tatum felt a certain way, but to trade him within your own conference into a rival like that, I thought that they could have got something else. They could have worked out a trade. I think with the Denver Nuggets, I keep bringing up that landing spot where you ask for a Jamal Murray or an Aaron Gordon, but usually the Boston Celtics are ahead of the curve and a great organization. I question this move immensely with trading him to the 76ers.
I don't get it at all. Yeah. So when that happened, what was that, 4 days ago now?
Yeah.
I think about. Yeah. I mean, we don't really have any super teams in the NBA right now. That's pretty close. Yeah. I mean, Tyrese Maxey's a damn good point guard, and Jaylen Brown is a really good 2-3 hybrid kind of guy. And Joel Embiid, when he plays, is incredible.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders also LeBron James is not going there, but let's just say
he'd be the fourth man there.
He'd be the fourth man there. He would be. But the other thing is, I don't think LeBron James, who, we joke about load management and things like that, but I don't think he wants to play with Joel Embiid, who is a guy who is notorious for, my toe hurts, or whatever the deal is with Joel Embiid. So
right.
Embiid's a great player, but yeah, they're very close to a super team. They are really, really good. That starting five, it would be Maxey, Edgecombe. I don't know.
Edgecombe too. Yeah.
I don't know who's playing the four for them, but it'd be, Jaylen Brown and then Joel Embiid and then whoever you want to slot in at power forward. But I don't know why the Celtics did this. I get it. They don't want to be in the Jaylen Brown business for whatever reason, but he wasn't publicly putting up any kind of crazy, he wasn't offended. It didn't seem like by the whole Giannis being shopped for him kind of, maybe he was, but it didn't seem irreparable or irreparable. And the other thing is you get Paul George back. how the hell do Paul George and Tatum work together? Like, George is now slow and older and just, he's like kind of like a rundown, like discount Kawhi Leonard in a way. I don't like, what does Paul George do for that team that makes them better than having Jaylen Brown? They got worse. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
So they're still really good. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. You traded a guy who I don't think he was the best player on the Celtics. If I had to pick one of the guys to keep, I would keep Jason Tatum.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But you got rid of a guy who has an argument where you could not be psycho and slot him in over Tatum and not look crazy to everybody else. Like, that's what they just got rid of, and they got Paul George for. I don't understand that. That's mind-boggling to me. And you traded him to the 76ers. Like, what universe does that happen? I mean, I guess divisions don't matter anymore, but you're going to go see those guys a bunch of times.
Yeah. I don't mind them trading Jaylen Brown because it seemed like they were fed up with him and the Twitch stream and him wanting another contract. It's just hard to pay Jason Tatum however much he's making right now and then pay Jaylen Brown. They already did at one point, but I guess he wanted to surpass what Jason Tatum was making. There were comments made. It's I relate it to A.J. Brown, where A.J. Brown won a championship with the Philadelphia Eagles but was never happy. And it seemed the same thing with Jaylen Brown. Even though it wasn't public with his disappointment of being included in two different trade packages years ago with Kevin Durant, which I totally understand that. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, like both trades. It's not like we're trading away Jaylen Brown for nothing. Those players were significant. So, and like Draymond Green wasn't offended when he was included in a trade package for Giannis Antetokounmpo this past offseason, or sorry, this past trade deadline. So Jaylen Brown, if he's upset that he was included for trades for Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo, don't be offended by that. But whatever, his ego was hurt, and I don't know what happened behind closed doors when he did his last Twitch. He thanked the fans, but did not say anything about Brad Stevens or Joe Mazzulla or Jason Tatum or anybody he went to war with for the 10 years he was with Boston. So there might be some hurt feelings there. I don't blame them for trading Jaylen Brown. I just hate them trading him inside the conference in a division rival. And yes, again, divisions don't matter anymore, but the 76ers and Boston Celtics have a history. So that's like, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you're trading A.J. Brown to the Commanders. Like, no, you're not doing that. Yeah. So I always have a problem with that, whether in any sport. I know it's more common in basketball to do that, and even baseball. But I would not trade players of that magnitude to division rivals like that. I would never do that. So, yeah, in the end, the Celtics, they're a worse team. Yes, they went out and got Mike Conley Jr. and Mitchell Robinson to get that, that big presence that was sorely missed in the playoff series against the 76ers. But I think they're a worse team. I think this catapults the 76ers to either above the Knicks or right there with them.
Yeah. Above.
You think so?
Asterisk if Joel Embiid plays.
He's healthy.
Yeah.
But they don't even honestly, dude, yes, Joel Embiid was the face of that organization for quite some time. He's third right now. He doesn't need to be that guy anymore.
That's a good point. No, not with Maxey coming into his own, and then also with Brown now. No, that's true with Jaylen Brown. It's true. It's just it's hard. I don't want to put them above the Knicks. I mean, I would. Yeah.
Talent level?
Healthy. They're right there. But for the Celtics, Paul George is 36 years old.
Yeah.
He played less than half the season last year. He's just not the same guy he was 5 years ago even. So, yeah, I don't get it. And they do get 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, but what the hell does that even mean? What does that mean in the NBA? What does that mean for the Celtics? What does that mean when you're getting those picks from the 76ers and what years and how good are the 70? Those aren't going to be lottery picks, not with the way that the 76ers are building. So it just, I don't get. Look, they must have, that relationship's over. They must have found the best deal they could have possibly gotten, and that's what it was. They got fleeced. Great trade for the 76ers. And yeah, if they're not number 1 in the East, they're 1A right behind the Knicks right now, or 1B.
Yeah, I think you have to have it that way. So puzzling move by the Celtics, and we'll see what happens here with everything else going on in NBA free agency. Still waiting on LeBron James. And I thought it was going to happen already at this point, but possibly the next couple of days here, we'll see. He could drag this thing out. And I'm reminded 10 years ago of Kevin Durant. Like yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of that, and it still is unbelievable to me that he actually joined the Golden State Warriors and the brand of basketball that we saw, and people hated on it. I remember the day that it was announced, Stephen A. Smith going on ESPN and saying, this is the weakest move by a superstar I've ever seen. And he was in his right to have that take, but I was so caught up in being a fan. Prior to that, Alon, I did not want Kevin Durant. I said, we don't need him. Like I had the mentality of we don't need Kevin Durant. We're 73-9. We lost to, a Cavalier team that's not better than us. Maybe LeBron James is the best player in the world, but I still think we could beat him. And I had the mentality of I don't think we need him. There was all those talks and rumors going on that Kevin Durant would want to join the Warriors, and I didn't put a lot of stock into it. I just thought that the Warriors were just running back with the team they had. And then the day it was announced on July 4th, I remember being at my mom's house, waking up, and we were in a group chat with everybody that worked in 95.7 The Game back in the day. Elena, Jacob, Daniel Ogden, Steven, and Daniel Ogden, Tom Tolbert's producer now, texted me saying they fucking did it. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he put out the whole Players Tribune article saying I'm moving on to the Golden State Warriors. And I was absolutely shocked. The next couple of days, the Bay Area was just on fire with excitement. Him doing the press conference with Bob Myers and Steve Kerr. The basketball we saw. Yes, in the end, it got weird. No doubt it got weird. But I think you have to say that's an all-time moment in Bay Area sports history. And if I had to rank the biggest free agent signings in Bay Area sports history, you got to go Barry Bonds number 1, Kevin Durant number 2, Deion Sanders 3, and we'll see if LeBron James signs where that would go. But yeah, no doubt in my mind, he was a mercenary. He was here for a short amount of time, but the day that Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors 10 years ago, one of the biggest moments in Bay Area sports history.
It's right there behind Barry Bonds. I totally agree with you. And the basketball we saw, look, that was, as Warrior fans, we're extremely spoiled. Now, we had to go through hell during our lifetimes. We weren't around for Rick Barry or anything like that, Nate Thurman. But we saw the unbeatable, look, a team that would beat any other team from any other era. That's just plain and simple. And that's not biased. That's just that's the fact. Look, that team with Curry and Clay and Draymond and Iguodala and Durant and all these guys, like, it was just so good. And yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest moments of all time for Bay Area sports. And the second biggest acquisition, Barry Bonds would probably be number 1. But there are people who would argue that it would be Kevin Durant because of what you got out of it, right? And Barry Bonds, you got the great moments. Unfortunately, didn't get a World Series. Would like to get that one back if you're a Giants fan, but it doesn't matter in the end. But I mean, was Bob Myers, now, was he at Lake Tahoe when this thing happened? Isn't that the story? Wasn't he?
No,
in Tahoe?
it was. No, I want to say he was part. He was in the Hamptons 5.
He was in the Hamptons 5.
I gotta believe he was.
Yeah, I forget what was going on. There was another moment there. Maybe when Durant left, he was in Tahoe and
maybe
threw his phone in the water or something like that. He pulled.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
that sounds about right. Yeah. Right? Okay, yeah, but no, it was an incredible moment, and 10 years ago today. That's crazy to think about, where the Warriors were so dominant, and now we're talking them about it as a play-in team who needs LeBron James' services to maybe be a 5th seed. But I miss those days, man. I just imagine what could have happened if Durant would have stayed. Yeah,
and I think he regrets it. I think that he tried to find happiness someplace else, and he realized the best place was to stay with the Warriors and just deal with Draymond. Draymond's going to be an asshole from time to time, but should have stayed there.
should have stayed.
Honestly, I mean, I think there was an article written where he admitted that to Steph, and now he could have gone back to the Warriors, 2 trade deadlines ago before they got Jimmy, and he declined because I know how it looks. So he'll spend the rest of his days, whether in Houston or someplace else. I don't think he'll ever find that joy that LeBron James is trying to find right now in free agency. Speaking of finding joy or finding a team to play for, we didn't talk about this last time, but the Brendan Sorsby saga is over. The whole thing of him wanting to go to the supplemental draft and, being ostracized from NCAA football because of his gambling addiction, as his team has said. He was kind of pushed out by college football and Texas Tech. He was hoping to go to the NFL this summer with the supplemental draft, and the NFL said, nope, we don't want you. He was prepared to sue the NFL and get support from the NFLPA. Well, this past week, Tom Pelissero and many reported that it's over. Brendan Sorsby reached an agreement with the NFL through the NFLPA saying there will be no further punishment for him. If he comes into the league, he will not be suspended. He basically is serving his time right now. Mm-hmm. Now, he's not going to sue. He's not going to pursue anything else. The Canadian Football League came out and said, we are not about Brendan Sorsby. He's not going to join our league. So for the time being, this whole football season, Brendan Sorsby will be out of sight, out of mind. He's going to be training on his own. He'll watch, I'm sure, college football and pro football, but he'll just be training and getting ready for the 2027 NFL draft. And I think this is the best course of action. He was not going to win this thing. Just come away looking better in PR and try to build yourself up through the draft, the combine, that whole process. You're a year behind, but, we'll see how you stack up with the rest of these quarterbacks. But this is the best course of action for Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of unfortunate for him about the Canadian Football League, which also kind of tells me probably won't be playing in any other leagues either. Not just that, but the statements that have been put out as well. Like he's going to be doing his own thing. Now he just needs to be cool. He needs to look, that's a lot of free time. So, maybe watch some college football. Don't bet on it. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if he ends up getting drafted or if he ends up being a UDFA, but it's the right course of action because if he decided to go, let's just say he decided to go to war with the NFL legally, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, then they were going to make that a living nightmare, not just for him in the courtroom, but they were going to make it a living hell for him trying to get into the league as well. It just wasn't, it was going to be a non-starter. So, I mean, what a weird kind of saga this whole thing was. In the end, in a real roundabout way, I guess some type of justice has been served. It just took a very circuitous route to get there. But this should be a lesson for anyone because there's other college football players probably who are ready to get drafted this upcoming draft. As long as they have good seasons and everything, who probably who probably are gambling. There's probably a few of them. I think that's probably a safe guess. So look what happened to this guy who's a quarterback and think about what could happen to you. So just don't do it. But interesting saga. There was something I saw related to this. I don't know if you, David Pollack, he covers college football for ESPN. He had Auburn's coach, Alex Golesh on his podcast. And he kind of asked him about Pollack kind of asked him what would you do with a player like that, or who's gambling and stuff. And this I thought was such an interesting statement. So Golesh said, "We've all known growing up, gambling is the one thing I can't get you out of. This is the one thing I can't help you with. Mm-hmm. I can help you with a lot. I can teach you about a lot, but you bet on a game, and it's one thing I can't get you out of." Yeah. I thought that was fascinating, and I think that is a view not just for college football, for the NFL. I think that's a view for a lot of professional and collegiate sports with coaches. I mean, unless your coach is Chauncey Billups, I think that these coaches are like, look, I just don't want to deal with it. And the organizations don't want to deal with it either.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair. I think that's telling of where we are at in sports, where it may be wrong, however you look at it morally, but there's certain situations, DUIs, other arrests that could happen to a player, and the NFL or college football has a way of fixing things. Mm-hmm. Once you are once the public sees that you were gambling, then it's hard to change that image. Like Shohei Ohtani will go down as maybe the best baseball player of all time. There's a good deal of people that believe that he gambled on baseball or gambled on whatever, and that's the reason why his translator Ippei had to go away. Now, whether that's right or wrong, it's the public image of that. Brendan Sorsby has to change that image. His NFL career hasn't started yet. And you mentioned, Alon, we'll see if he's drafted or a UDFA. I got to believe he's drafted just based on the talent, but we'll see. It may be where he's untouchable. But I think this whole thing of him coming to an agreement with the NFL means that most likely he's going to be in good standing. Excuse me. Good standing with them. So, yeah, man, it's hard to change that image. Once you are affiliated with gambling, it's hard to let that go away. Like Isaiah Rodgers of the Vikings. He got busted when he was a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. And even last year, he made 2 great plays, I want to say, in a game against the Bengals where he had a pick 6 and a fumble return for a touchdown. And, of course, everyone's reaction on social media was, well, he bet on himself and he scored. And, whatever. That's like, whatever. It's funny. But people have that. People are going to remember that for the rest of his career. Same thing with Jameson Williams. Even though it's not true gambling, he placed a bet when he was at the team facility. So, yeah, I think that's 100% accurate, where there's certain things in life that people can help you out with. When you're a professional athlete and you get caught up with gambling, they can't help you.
Yeah, and now that college is professionalized, fully now with NIL, it's just adopting that same standard if it didn't already have it. So, yeah, and I like what you said, Derek, is because there's certain things that could harm people way worse, like a DUI or some things like that. And, we can help you with that somehow because it's football. But if it comes to integrity of the game, that's a whole
nother animal.
Yeah, it's a whole nother animal. So, yeah, it's just what a weird saga because so many things could have happened. But, this is the best course of action for Brendan Sorsby, because if he really wants to keep playing football, this is what he needs to do.
Absolutely. All right, before we get out of here, a little jackass of the week. Alon, you got anything this week?
I do. So I had 2. So I was thinking about the referee from the USA Bosnia-Herzegovina game, because that was a jackass move to give a card after. Not his decision to give the card, by the way. It's the VAR replay official. So I was like, no, he did a bad job, but it's not all on him. Mine, kind of a layup. It's Brandon Aiyuk.
Yep.
And I don't know if you have the same one, but
I do. You and I are in agreement on this one. But go ahead, Alon.
It's part of me felt like, oh man, should I be like picking on this guy because maybe he's going? No, very weird, very big jackass move. Look, he's a grown man, and I think he knows what he's doing, and he's doing really stupid things. I don't know if you want me to read what he posted or if you're going to read it, Derek, but
go ahead. Just to set it up, we've all seen Brandon Aiyuk with his videos, and it's equal parts stupid, funny, disturbing to me, because if he doesn't have any knowledge that the Commanders want him, this behavior is disturbing, where he's going all the way to Maryland and promoting, Washington, and he doesn't know from Adam Peters or Jayden Daniels that he's going to be on the football team. That's disturbing behavior to me. Now, some people are questioning if actually the Commanders are interested, because I guess, I don't know where Jayden Daniels was, but a group of 49er fans saw him in a press box and said, "Hey, fuck Brandon Aiyuk, fuck him." And he laughs. I don't think it's disrespectful towards his friend. He's just laughing at the fact that a fan came up to him and was that aggressive with him. Then Brandon Aiyuk goes on social media yesterday. This is how he spent his July 4th. I don't know if you have the quotes or anything, Alon, but basically saying that he felt disrespected by Jayden Daniels for laughing at the fans.
Yep. Yeah. He tagged Daniels in a post and said, "5 gonna text me talking about you're on my team now, you follow my rules. Boy, I'm a grown ass man. Boy, you're gonna have to start running behind your mama, and I might believe what you talking about. But until then, no." And then he tagged Daniel specifically in a separate post, which read, the F always so funny, little N-word, turn your savage up. And then in the third post, he was saying, let's run it 5. Let's see. Need you available all season, and I'll do the same. I'm like, what the hell is this?
That's the most puzzling part, where the first two contradict the last one, where he was like, let's run it back 5. And then I think Jen Daniels sent in a post with Kevin Durant putting 2 thumbs down. Now, some people are like, this is Brandon Aiyuk, like, burning a bridge with Jayden Daniels. And for the crowd that thought he never play football again, this supports that 100%. Now, there's a lot of people on social media, including Benjamin Albright, who's hit or miss when it comes to news, but he's tweeted out saying, you guys are getting fooled by this. They are good friends, and this is them trolling everybody on social media. I don't know what I believe at this point. I think Brandon Aiyuk, his behavior, it's questionable with a lot of things. So I don't know what to believe anymore. But even if this is a trolling job by Brandon Aiyuk and Jayden Daniels, bad move by Jayden Daniels. Like, dude, just you're the quarterback of the Commanders. Don't get caught up in this bullshit. If you want to help your friend down and get him a spot on the team, that's more than fine. But don't get caught up in the social media game. For Brandon Aiyuk, your reputation is so bad right now that if this is a joke, no one believes you. So I'm somewhere. I don't know why I'm thinking this way, but I got to believe that Brandon Aiyuk has some knowledge that he's going to Washington. Otherwise, why would he do this? It's maybe because he's losing a little bit, which is sad. Honestly, it is sad. But if it's where he's just trolling and he knows that he's going to be picked up by the Commanders once he's released, why do this? Just out of sight, out of mind, man. Like, we don't need to know your whole diary here. Like, and plus, none of this is going to happen unless you go to Santa Clara. You have to talk to John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. I don't know why he's doing this song and dance without any representation that he thinks he can get away with this. And it's just release me. Please release me. Like Eddie Vedder. Yeah. Like, no, dude, like, you have to go through the proper channels. This is where you need an agent. You have to talk to the team you're currently employed by, and then they'll let you go. But if you go on social media and do this whole thing of fuck Kyle Shanahan, fuck John Lynch, and then you do, I want them to release me, saying all this stuff about them, and on top of that, you think you're having a fun with your buddy Jayden Daniels and going to make it seem like you guys are feuding? That's a bad idea. Bad idea.
And here's the other thing. I love that you said release, because I love the old drop of your dad on the radio. with Panda.
Yes. Yeah, Pablo Sandoval.
Release me.
Oh, please release me. It was his belt. His belt exploded when he was a member of the Red Sox. He's like, man, his belt just wanted to get away from his body. Oh, please release me.
And then, that was cut up forever. But oh, what a swing that was, too. Imagine how powerful a man has to be to bust out of his own belt. Yeah. But here's the other thing. Jayden Daniels, this is also like, okay, if they are having fun, it kind of makes Jayden Daniels look bad, because it's like, what are you doing, dude? Yeah. But it's kind of like when you're a kid and you're hanging out with that friend, but that friend always gets in trouble. You get in a little trouble with him too, but the trouble's not going to be that by association. Bad. Yeah. Exactly. But it's not going to be that bad for you, because the other kid's such a big jackass. That's what's happening here too. Exactly. And Brandon Aiyuk might not realize that it's like, oh, this is fun for Jayden Daniels, but like, he might not actually really care about any of this, and he's just having his own fun too. But I wonder what that conversation is going to be like when Aiyuk finally does go talk to Kyle and John, because like that has to happen. And this is what I don't understand. Why doesn't he or his people, like, who is advising this man? Have they not written a letter and said, hey, please release me. Please release me. Please release me, because it's not helping. Like, we talked about this earlier in the year. If this keeps going on, there's a point where it could make Brandon Aiyuk kind of untouchable, persona non grata around the NFL. If that's not now, we're damn close to that happening. I mean, I thought we were kind of close earlier, But like with this now, not because of exactly what he said or anything like that, but because it keeps happening. And let's say the Commanders sign him. This shit probably is going to happen during the season too. Like maybe not to this extent, but if he's going off on social media like this, and I know he's not happy with this whole Niner situation, he just wants to be released, but for whatever reason, he can't find the words to convey that to the Niners. But like, there's a real risk that he just keeps acting like an idiot. And I mean, at a point, even the Commanders are going to go, Jayden, maybe he'd be a nice player for you to have, but no, we're just not dealing with this. And so like, if we're not at that point, Derek, I think we're really close. And, go back to it again. It's hard for me to call him Jackass of the Week because maybe he is going a little loopy.
Yeah.
But this is Jackass of the Week stuff. Like there's no way around it.
It is. And it's funny to me that everybody in Brandon Aiyuk's corner, at least that, was once in his corner, are all John Lynch guys. Like Ryan Williams, his agent, also John Lynch's agent. And he's trying to go to Washington. Adam Peters was the assistant general manager to John Lynch for a long time. So this behavior does not help you. And we do not know if the Washington Commanders are actually interested. We keep hearing that because from Brandon Aiyuk, but Adam Peters, I keep saying this, is a well thought out general manager. And I don't know if he's just doing this because he wants to do a solid to Jayden Daniels or because he believes still in Brandon Aiyuk. But if it comes out where this is true, that Aiyuk is mad at Jayden Daniels and the Commanders have given him no assurances that they're going to sign him, then this behavior is disturbing to me. And I want this all to go away. I'm tired of this. I wish the Niners would just release him because I'm tired of talking about this. But maybe it would lead to more stuff where no one's signing him, and then he's like, if he's not picked up by anybody, you don't see Deebo Samuel or Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill doing these videos online being like, so why is no one signing me? That's what would happen if Brandon Aiyuk was not picked up by the Commanders. He's like, oh, well, fuck them too now. Like, that's what I worry about. And it would be like a whole nother thing. So, this whole story. Okay, lastly, Alon, little pop culture catch up. You and I have been talking about what movies we're going to see eventually, and I haven't, full disclosure, have not seen Disclosure Day yet. Don't know when I'm going to. I'm flying to Houston next week, so I plan on seeing Toy Story and Jackass and The Odyssey. I don't know if I'll get around to seeing Disclosure Day, but any movies or anything that you've seen lately? What
was it? 2 or 3 days ago, I just saw Jackass, the newest one.
Nice. What'd you think? Jackass, best and last.
Best and last. So it would be, I think, the fifth one, right? Because there was 1, 2, 3, 3.5, and now this.
There was a fourth too a couple years ago. Yeah.
Oh, there was a fourth. So is this the sixth one, or
this is the fifth? I mean, the other ones were like DVD spinoffs.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, I saw this one. I still haven't seen the fourth one. I'll maintain that out of the movies, the first one's probably still my favorite. I like the second one too. I mean, they're all fun. This one was fun. But it's definitely got to be the last one, just because they're so old. Like they can't keep doing this stuff. There's some gnarly stuff. There's some stuff that they hadn't shown before, which was interesting.
Yeah, for back in the day.
Yeah, it was. So the movies, they're so famous, like Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, like guys like that. They're so famous, they can't go do like a lot of the old stuff that they used to go do, right? They can't do the public stuff. But they do show some great stuff they hadn't shown, which is funny. And it's also kind of a sentimental movie in a way, too. There's some like cutaways where they're talking and like about how much this whole thing is meant to them, all this stuff like that. But it still tries to be funny, and it is. It's gross. This one is one of the grosser ones. I still think 2 is the grossest for the stunt.
The horse scene?
Yep, that's why.
Yeah.
But 2 I think is always going to be the gross. You knew exactly why.
Oh, well, dude, that's the one that sticks out to me because I remember seeing that, and the audience. I mean, the audience is, we're not worried about offending certain people. No. They drink horse semen in the second one, and it's an R-rated movie, but they actually have to blur out when they actually drink.
Yes, it's
the liquid. Yeah. 3 was one of my favorites. The second one's pretty good. First one was just like a bunch of, like a longer episode of the original show. The fourth one I don't remember as well, even though it came out a couple years ago. I think Eric Andre was in that one. This one I've heard, as you said, Alon, is a little more sentimental, where you see stuff from the past. Bam Margera, who's not really with them anymore, and that's a sad situation. But yes, I'm looking forward to seeing this last installment of the Jackass franchise.
It's worth seeing. It was definitely worth seeing. So my sister really wanted to see it, so we saw it together. She had never gone to a Jackass movie before in a theater, so she saw it. And she's like 5 years. Yeah, she's 5 years younger than me. And I was kind of telling her, I was like, Celine, this is kind of this era of entertainment's kind of over. Maybe there's others doing kind of similar things, but this was a niche pocket in time between 1999 and the late 2000s, where it was every kid, this was the thing to watch, and we all watched it. But it was good. It was funny, and it wasn't long. It didn't outstay its welcome, that's for sure. And it was a fun time. And I didn't see it in a theater full of people. There were only 5 other people in the theater. But we went to a 1 p.m. show on a weekday. Yeah. So that's why. But I think with a theater full of people, it'd be a riot too. Which is how I saw Naked Gun, the Liam Neeson one, with a theater full of people, and people were dying. And I was dying too. It was hilarious.
Yeah, but it totally added the experience.
Yeah, it did. But great movie. Highly recommend, Derek.
Okay, so I've seen a few movies, and I had to watch a few on my 2 10+ hour journeys to Italy and back to Italy, or back to America. I finally saw Peaky Blinders, the movie, The Immortal Man. Are you a Peaky Blinders guy, Alon?
I watched the first step. I'm not a big TV man,
fair enough,
TV guy, man. But was it good?
It was solid. It's kind of like were you a Breaking Bad guy?
I watched all of Breaking Bad, yeah.
Did you watch El Camino, the Jesse movie that followed it?
Didn't see the movie.
Okay, and the same thing with the Sopranos movie, The Many Saints of Newark. Good, good, not needed.
Okay.
The Peaky Blinders could have ended on its own. They did this last thing, and it was a nice final, I guess, epilogue to the series. But was it needed? No, not in my opinion. But it was good nonetheless. Cillian Murphy finally done with a Thomas Shelby character, so it was solid. I saw Is This Thing On? A little romantic comedy with Will Arnett and Lena Dunham, where he's a comedian. He's getting a divorce and he tries stand up for the first time. I'm a big Will Arnett fan. I love the Smartless podcast. Loved Arrested Development. By far his best acting. Also, if you like BoJack Horseman, Will Arnett, kind of similar in a way. But yeah, highly recommend if you like comedians doing darker, more dramatic roles. This is right up your alley. So I thought it was a really good performance by Will Arnett. And he wrote the movie too, directed by Bradley Cooper, I believe. Oh. And I watched the Jerry West documentary, The Logo, and really well done. I think, when we talk about players, Hall of Fame players turned general managers or executives, I think you have to say Jerry West is the best of all time with what he accomplished with, the Showtime Lakers, and then going to finding Kobe Bryant, getting Shaq in free agency, then making the Memphis Grizzlies what they were, going to the Golden State Warriors and telling Joe Lacob and Bob Myers, do not trade Klay Thompson, otherwise I'm walking. Mm-hmm. It was, you see, a lot was made of Winning Time, the HBO series, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but his portrayal in that people thought was comical and over the top, and it was. But that wasn't the true Jerry West. I would really encourage people to watch this and you get a sense of the man. Yes, he had his demons. He was tormented by losing. I think it was 8 NBA Finals, being named NBA Finals MVP for a losing series. That killed him. He always wanted to win, and he dealt with depression for all of his life. His upbringing with his father, he was abusive. I highly recommend this. It was very well done with Jerry West, The Logo on Amazon Prime. And then finally, in the spirit of 4th of July, I watched the first episode of Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness, Larry David's new HBO series, where he puts himself into moments in America's history and you could tell that Larry David is fascinated with history. I think he was a history major. It's very well done. Honestly, better than some of the later seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's some good cameos. I think Barack Obama does the intro. There's one. They're like sketches. So he does like 3 or 4 to a 30-minute episode. There's one in particular where they go into Rosa Parks, and Larry David plays the annoying guy that sits next to Rosa Parks on the bus. It's very well done. Very well done. You can tell this is like a passion project for Larry David. So if you're a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan or Seinfeld fan, I highly recommend it.
So it's kind of like a Drunk History, but it's Larry David doing it.
Yes, like it's a Larry David character in different sections of history. And yeah, the Rosa Parks one's hilarious, where it starts off with her refusing to go to the back of the bus, and then Larry David, the white guy, sitting next to her, be like, "Yeah, good for her." And he talks her ear off the entire time. She's like, "Oh God, this guy's so fucking annoying. I have to go back to the bus."
I love that. No, that's great. Okay, so I gotta watch that. That's on HBO Max. So I will definitely watch that, because I was looking for. I didn't know it was out yet. I was looking forward to it, but good. So you watched some good things on
so
your
far.
Flights. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had to watch something with 10 hours to kill.
Everyone knows the best way to watch a movie is on an airplane. That's the prime way to view something. I mean, if it's really good, that means it's maybe the best movie ever if it was good on an airplane.
Exactly. And you're watching like a little small screen, whether it's on your phone or in someone's headrest. So yeah, watching a movie in an airplane, not the best thing, but yeah. I mean, the movies that I watched got me through long flights. And I'll be taking one pretty soon here, although in comparison to going to Italy, not bad at all. Just a 4-hour flight to Houston. I'll be doing that next Friday. So I'll be doing some shows from Houston.
Hobby or Bush?
Going into Bush.
Let's go, Bush.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a straight shot, so not bad at all. And yeah, I'll be doing that next week, but we still got this week, and we'll get LeBron James news, I'm assuming, before I leave. But either way, we'll be talking about it. So let's plan for Wednesday, Alon. But if LeBron James news happens before then we'll hop on here, with the exception of maybe tomorrow, because we got USA versus Belgium. But if that game's at 5:00, maybe we jump on here a little early. We'll see. But we'll let you guys know the next time we're on if LeBron James joins the Warriors or goes to the Cavaliers at this point. To everybody in the chat, thanks to Daryl Middlebrook. Thanks for jumping on. Pat H. Good to see you, Pat H. At Harmonic last week. And I guess I'll see you on Tuesday at the patio for Giants Blue Jays. We got Dubs and 6, and we got Ernie 1. Everybody enjoy some World Cup tonight with Mexico taking on England, and then USA versus Belgium tomorrow. Alon, say what you always say, my friend.
Hey, I don't have much today, but I will say this. You guys might not think Joey Chestnut is an athlete, but that's just your opinion, man.